Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LAyercake. It is turn 21, and the major thing that happened for me this turn was the battle at the Fortress of Mictlan. So let's get into that. So, at the battle, we've got Mictlan's province defense on the walls, just warriors. These are literally Jaguar tribe, except they don't wear armor, so they're worse. In the back, he has some eagle warriors, which I was afraid of. Which I was afraid of because they can fly. He's got some rain warriors. Interesting recruitment. Rain warriors are not very good units. They're a lot like Sohei, except slightly worse. But they are amphibious and can swim and have swamp survival. So they have some extra stats, but in terms of what they can do... In fact, let me back out real quick and... Well, no, I'll look at the battle first. But yeah, rain warriors, basically Sohei, but not as good. Lower morale for one thing. He's got a few Jaguar warriors, mainly very badly injured and diseased, interestingly. Yeah, they're all afflicted, pretty much. So I think these are just the survivors of his expansion that he pulled back to try and defend the capital. And then he has a whole bunch of mages. A sun priest, a moon priest there, another sun priest there, a rain priest. He has Mictlantecuhtli, the King of Legends, who is a hero. Mictlantecuhtli is undead, and he's Death 3, Blood 3, and Holy 3, so he's a very, very powerful mage. He is susceptible to fire, and he has all the regular undead traits in addition to being sacred. So he's got a bunch of mages, Mictlantecuhtli, a whole bunch of blood slaves, and just a few units. On my side, of course, I have my two bands of samurai archers. I have a commander in the back. I have Makoto the Hatamoto. How very rhyming. Big ol' line of Akaoni samurai and some crap chaff in the front, together with one injured Yamabushi. So, let's see how this goes. So he back here is casting Sabbath Slave and... so he's using up most of his slaves and then summoning imps. And then he's going to cast Hell Power. Okay, so Hell Power, this is interesting. So my chaff is just going in and tying up his chaff. My Jaguar tribe have once again stopped to fire their slings instead of charging into combat, which is fine. My mages back here are... Hisashi is diseased, and I never did anything about it, so he's going to die. But he's going to live through this turn. All my mages back here are just... they've iron-skinned themselves, they're going to summon Earth Power, and then they're going to start summoning Earth Elementals. In the back... these Eagle Warriors jumped to the rear to try and attack my commanders, which would have been a good idea if my mages were behind my infantry line, but since I had them out front, the Eagle Warriors just landed on this Hatamoto, and they are getting Tangle-Vinesed, because Hidekazu is casting Tangle-Vines, which I had scripted him to do. So Hell Power over here, which he's about to cast. In the back, these Eagle Warriors are getting absolutely shredded by my Akaoni. So he cast Hell Power, Mictlantecuhtli did, and Hell Power boosts his magic tremendously, but it also horror marks him very, very badly. And it causes every spell cast thereafter to summon horrors. So, this is what's referred to as a Hell Power bomb, albeit a very small one. The strategy is, when you don't think you can win in another way, or when you want to inflict damage on a superior enemy army, you cast Summon Hell Power, and hopefully something that will help keep your slaves alive a little bit longer, and then you just spam as many spells as possible, and it spawns horrors. And horrors are very powerful units, so you hope that the horrors can kill the enemy army even if you can't. So you can see, he's already got two lesser horrors. They cause fear, they're magical, they are ethereal, with protection, so extremely hard to kill. They have a life drain attack that can heal them, as well as this Astral Claw, which is an armor negating attack that also horror marks. These are some of the easiest lesser horrors to deal with, and they're still very, very tough. They primarily attack people, however, who have been horror marked, and my troops have not at this point really been horror marked, while his have. This is the downside of the Hell Power bomb. Hell Power horror marks all of your people very badly, and spawns all the horrors in proximity. So, my Akaoni Samurai have cleaned up the flyers. My chaff up here, you can see fire ants are actually very tough chaff. They've actually broken through, partially because the Jaguar warriors have mostly been distracted by the horrors. And my archers are raining fire on the group here, so they're causing some damage and disruption as well. There's 3 horrors now, and you'll see the number of horrors just multiplying. Now, the rain warriors have broken, my infantry are now storming in, my Akaoni samurai. My archers continue to fire, the earth elementals are going up on the walls, and we're now up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horrors. They've actually killed all the mages except Omakatl the Priest King here. All of Mictlan's other mages are dead. The horrors chewed them up very, very quickly. My infantry are unfortunately distracted. They get one more horror off, and then the horrors begin teleporting into my backlines. So, one of those horrors I think already killed the commander I had standing in the back, which is good. He distracted them for as long as he could. My Master Shugenjas have now gone off script, and since they are Earth 3, they're now casting Earth Meld and Earth Grip. So here's the interesting thing about horrors that I actually had not remembered. Horrors don't fly. They don't even float. They're ethereal, they can teleport, and they can blink, but they don't fly. And since they don't fly, despite the fact that they have storm immunity, I don't know why they have storm immunity, given that they don't fly, but, I mean, it almost seems like a bug, like somebody just forgot to make these things fly. But as a result, Earthmeld works on them, and it decreases their defense by 10 or 9. So, my high attack infantry can deal with earth melded horrors. You can see here my samurai archers, they're doing a lot of damage, or, well, they're taking a lot of damage, but they're also inflicting quite a bit of damage back. Now, these horrors are all ganging up on this one gang of archers, which is unfortunate. These archers are being escorted off, these archers have routed, but by earth melding the horrors, I'm preventing them from jumping on my mages and killing them, because they can't blink when they're earth melded. He was trying to shrink them, and it failed because they have hugely high magic resistance. But my infantry are now ganging up on the horrors, and despite the fact that hitting them is very unlikely, they can inflict damage because they do, well, let me find one that still has arms, because they do high damage and they have very high attack values. So the horrors end up swarmed by my infantry. My mages are not horror marked, none of them are. So the horrors are not attacking my mages. They're primarily trying to go after infantry who have already engaged horrors once, and so have already been horror marked. As a result, my infantry, they keep jumping into the position where I can hurt them. And so my infantry and my earth elementals, well, not the earth elementals so much because they can't trample them, they're too big, but my infantry surround the horrors and slowly chop them down while they are entangled and earth melded, and so unable to defend themselves. And so we defeat the horror power, the hell power bomb, solely by virtue of earth meld, basically. If we hadn't been earth melding these guys, they may well have won. One thing that was definitely on my side here is the fact that Akaoni Samurai have very high morale. So fear lowers morale by 5, but their morale at this point is 17. So even after they've been hit by the fear, their current morale is still 12, and they still regularly pass morale checks, so they don't run from the horrors. Which most infantry will do. Most infantry will just run away from horrors after a few rounds of fighting them. But not Akaoni Samurai, and of course not Earth Elementals, who never rout. So, we took Mictlan, despite the Hellpower Bomb. We also attacked the Mountains of Evernight, and here we would have suffered a few more casualties, but we actually got kind of lucky. This whole gang of barbarians only has 2 chiefs. And, as you will see here, the chiefs were right up by the front, and we happened to numbness one of the groups of people who was with one of the chiefs, with the numbness spell we were casting. So, the chiefs run in first, and get murdered immediately, which immediately routs all the barbarians. So they only get 1 round of attacks on us before they're killed. We would have still won, but as it was, we only suffered 2 casualties. 2 of our Akaoni Samurai were hit by the barbarians and instantly killed, which happens because barbarians just do so much damage when they hit. The Shark Warriors definitely acquitted themselves well, so did the Akaoni Samurai. The Go-Hatamotos didn't, but that was because they were already running away by the time the Go-Hatamotos got there. Didn't find any magic sites. That's okay, I was only searching for like 1 or 2 paths at level 1 or 2 in most of these places, so not too unexpected. We have hit Alteration level 4. We'll hit Alteration level 5 in 2 more turns. Lost a couple of scouts in Arcocephali, but that's to be expected. And we gained a hardwood club in the Sleepy Wolds, which is an item that I will never use, but, I mean, it's nice to have, I guess. And my Master Shugenja died of a disease. Actually, let's take a look. So, yeah, let's compare Sohei. So, yeah, Sohei have Strength 11, Attack Skill 12, Defense 11, Protection 15, Morale 15. So they have higher morale. I think it's the same attack skill. They may end up with a higher defense skill, and I think they have higher protection. If we look at those Rain Warriors. Yeah, 1 less strength, same attack and defense skill, higher protection, higher morale, and higher combat speed. So overall Rain Warriors and Sohei, I would say, are fairly similar. Rain Warriors can go underwater, but taking glaives underwater is a terrible idea because they are slashing weapons. If you take Sohei or Rain Warriors underwater, well, Rain Warriors end up with attack 5. Sohei end up with attack 5. Rain Warriors end up with probably attack 8 because they don't suffer the amphibious penalty, but still, it's not a good luck. My poor little... I'm just going to set this guy to patrol because he's going to be down here forever doing nothing. Costing me 32 gold a year. I would have to spend resources to kill him. And he's not worth that, so it's just going to be 64 gold a year going for a stipend to these 2 random mermen. Oh, actually, Shudu can come on land. Okay, well, great. I can actually use Shudu for things. Vur Mifadreth, poor little Vur, will never be useful for anything again. So he's just going to patrol until he dies, or I figure out a way to kill him, which won't be easy. But monetarily, we're doing very well. Our gem income has increased significantly by conquering Mechlin. We got an extra nature, an extra astral, an extra fire, and an extra water gem. So our gem income is looking more healthy. Still not great, but getting there. We're making 13 gems per turn plus 4 blood slaves. So yeah, we'll be able to get up to the point where we can empower somebody in blood fairly soon. I am blanketing Arcocephali with scouts, and more slowly I'm trying to blanket Man and Agartha with scouts as well. Still kind of trying to figure out which way I'm going to jump. I've been talking a lot about taking this lake away from Patala. That said, Patala did just give me a bunch of water gems to use against Raga, and I don't hate Patala. That said, I do want revenge for killing my god, so, you know, there's that. It was extremely rude, and I didn't like it. So I may well do that. Aichi here has 40 Ashigaru. Makoto is taking his 12 Shark Warriors back down under here. He will pick up another 8 Shark Warriors from last turn's recruitment. And he will then take those 20 Shark Warriors and begin to march. And he will definitely march to Kamiya. And then the question will be, well, does he go here or does he go here? Now, Patala is, I think, going down. They're being attacked by Marignan. They are, of course, fighting Raga, and Raga is pushing them back fairly successfully. Raga has re-established their capital circle. They've taken some provinces beyond that. They're helped by the fact that Man is now attacking Ulm, and so Ulm is in dire straits. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they've lived this long, but then Great Grey Shrike is an extremely good player, and so he's fighting his hardest, I'm sure. Patala is just still over here having snake adventures. Don't know what happened in Lucky Lake. Maybe the snake went this way or something, but we'll kind of see how it develops. Patala is very long and large. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would imagine they have 9, 10, 11, 12. That's them 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Have they claimed that throne? They haven't claimed a throne. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 provinces at least, which makes them bigger than me, and I hate people who are bigger than me. Raga, by contrast, is only 12 provinces. I am about to start casting Woven Winter on their capital, which will be crippling. So to be honest, One way to go about this would be to try to go to war with Raga. I don't know that I quite have the magic to do that yet, but I did just hit Alteration level 4. And with Alteration level 4, I can now cast Slow, Destruction, and Swarm. So honestly, that's probably enough magic to let me take on gangs of Zayedans, assuming I have numerical superiority. Shark Warriors will, of course, lose to Zayedans 1-on-1 or even 2 to 3-on-1. But if I have a mixed gang of Zayedans, Aka Oni Samurai, and magical support, I could take on gangs of Zayedans. Like, this group I could probably kill with... I might be able to kill it with this army if I had a couple more mages in support. A big part of the strategy against Zayedans is just going to be bringing nature mages and crapping out tons and tons of swarm as rapidly as possible. Another part of the strategy will be casting wooden warriors on Aka Oni Samurai, which will kick their protection up to well over 20, and that will help. It won't solve the issue because Zayedans do already hit hard, and with that strength buff they have, I think they have +4 strength, so they're doing over 20 damage with all their attacks. It would be rough fighting Raga, but I've got a huge pile of... I've got a reasonably sized... I'm not going to say huge. I've got a reasonably sized pile of indie crossbows right there. I've got the Shark Warriors coming up. I do have quite a few Tengu, so I can try to hit commanders. I've got options. So Shudu down here is just going to patrol for a couple turns and then grab the Shark Warriors that are coming out of this province now, because I am also recruiting Shark Warriors here at this point. I have the money to support it. Tokimichi will take his army and move. It really just kind of... I'm really just trying to figure out which way to jump. I'm going to spend a couple of turns consolidating, but I do not want to spend long without fighting someone and taking land, because taking land is the imperative. The greatest imperative in Dominions. So I'm thinking what I want to do is get Ryutaro and Makoto and Shudu combining with all my Shark Warriors. I'm thinking I want to take this pond and secure yet another underwater fort, because underwater provinces give you a lot of money. And money is the fuel for the engine that is your nation. Money lets you recruit mages. Money lets you recruit troops if you have good recruitable troops. Money, 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 money. I also do need to, of course, research and site search, but my research will be spiking now that I have the money. I mean, money is what fuels research as well, because money is what lets you recruit mages. And so, recruiting mages out of all of my forts is kind of the imperative here, which means having the money to do so. So if I wanted to continue expansion this turn, I would do it by rolling straight into Raga. I had let him know that our non-aggression pact will be cancelled next turn. I'm moving Akihiro onto this province, so he can begin casting Woven Winter on Raga, which should mean that after turn 23, Raga cannot recruit Zayedans anymore. Right now he has probably... That's 2 spa beds there. That's about 8 Zayedans and 2 Griffins, dismounted Zayedans. And this is probably 20 Zayedans here, so we're probably looking at about 30 Zayedans all told. Which is not unbeatable by any means. There are certain troops that I have to kind of avoid recruiting, like, for example, Samurai Archers. I like Samurai Archers. I think they're very effective, and especially they're very gold efficient. But against Zayedans, they're not useful. For some reason, I can recruit crossbowmen and heavy infantry in Mictlan, which I'm not going to complain about. But it's interesting. It's kind of funny. Yeah. We're going to have to see. We're just going to have to see how things go. I've got my first Onmyoji searching down here. I'm recruiting a second this turn. I'm going to recruit 3 or 4. I need to get an Earth random Onmyoji. because the Earth Astral Crosspath will unlock a lot of boosters for me, especially once I research Construction Level 4. Eventually I want to hit Construction Level 6 to get Lightless Lanterns, because otherwise I'm not doing much with Fire Gems, but that will be, as I said, for the future. Moving some mages around to do more site searching. All the mages here are moving out to site search because I could desperately use more Earth sites, and Mechtlin, I don't believe, can really site search for Earth, so these provinces are probably not site searched for Earth at all. But yeah, strategically, the question here is, do I go in hard against Raga, or do I attack Patala, who is in many ways a more vulnerable target, but also doesn't have the long-term scare factor, that Raga does. Now, Raga's scare factor is diminishing by the day as I get more of my powerful troops and mages out, because Raga has been so effectively contained that they're down to just 12. They only have 12 provinces on turn 21, and they don't have any semblance of a blood economy active yet. So there's that. That said, the Zayedans remain dangerous at pretty much any stage of the game, and I just don't know. I have to think about it. Because honestly, what I could do is I could take, like, this province is vulnerable, these two provinces are vulnerable, this province is vulnerable. I could take 5 provinces from Raga right now. That would leave me vulnerable to counterstrokes, and it would become a very dangerous and bloody war. The main problem is I would be limited in mobility because, even unblessed, a pack of Zayedans could probably wipe out a raiding army. So I would have to move in pretty heavy stacks in order to defend myself against the possibility of Zayedans diving in and just trying to murder everyone. And I don't have many heavy stacks. My troop count is low because I've been recruiting expensive, high-quality troops, which is a common problem for Jomon. And, I'm just not sure. Swarm and my alteration will help a lot, but that would require committing a whole bunch of mages, and my research is already kind of in the trash can. I'd like to spend some time recruiting mages, building up research, doing that kind of stuff. And I think Patala, I'm a lot more likely to be able to fight Patala, at least to the extent of taking this lake away from him, without having to commit a whole bunch of mages. Because my Shark Warriors underwater, my Shark Warriors with a couple of Ryujins in support can pretty much trash can anything Patala can send at me. And I'm going to have 2 more Ryujins next turn, so that'll be a total of 4. If I send 2 Ryujins with a gang of Shark Warriors and Ryutaro, I think I can definitely get into this lake, take it, and build another couple of forts without him being able to stop me. So that would increase my personal power quite a bit. The question is just, is Raga going to turn into a metastasizing tumor again if I don't attack him? I think the Woven Winter will keep Raga under control, but the burden of fighting him will then fall mainly on Bogarus. So I'm going to have to do some analysis. I'm not attacking Raga this turn. I'm moving these guys back down here, and whichever way I jump, it will be from the Sea of Rond. In a couple of turns, I'll have a significant force of Shark Warriors down here that I will send out with Shudu, and we will move on from there. So I'm not attacking anybody this turn. I have a reasonable size. I'm doing okay. Another option would be to attack Man, while Man is busy fighting Ulm. That would kind of keep him distracted. I already have an army in place here to do that. A small army, but an army nonetheless. I have Shark Warriors from here that could take a province. I could get these troops that I have, these Karasu Tengu that I'm summoning easily down here to fight him. Could I summon Karasu Tengu here? Ooh, Akihiro, look at you. 5 paths and 3 of them are Earth. Akihiro, you wonderful man. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't want you forging anything yet. Just keep researching. But 3 Earth is... 3 Earth is nice. I do still want to get I still need to get a 2 Air Master Shugenja. An Air 2 Master Shugenja. Because Air 2 is what will allow me to summon Dai Tengu. So definitely have to keep pumping out the Master Shugenjas until I hit that random. But... that will be an issue for another turn. Right now, I'm doing well. I'm satisfied with where I am. If I get attacked by somebody else, that will be an issue, but we will solve that problem when it crops up. No need to borrow trouble right now. Right now, the question is really between Raga and Patala, and we'll see where that goes. I'll have to do some diplomacy off-screen here, talk to some people, figure out what to do. I need more water income. If I had more water income, then this would be a relatively easy choice, because I could go attack Patala while also keeping Raga's Zayeden production shut down indefinitely. As it is, without more water income, I can't do that. I need more water gems in order to prevent Raga from eventually being able to recruit Zayedens again. So, yeah. In any case, thanks for watching, and I will see you in turn 22. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is turn 22 of LAyercake, and it has been a remarkably uneventful turn. We'll talk about that in a second here. We saw one battle, a battle in Nidian range, where Patala is attacking Raga with yet another army of huge numbers of war elephants. And I don't know. Huge numbers of war elephants are just an interesting choice for me. He does have Monkey Business the Prophet leading the army, so that's giving a morale boost. He's got some Maceman mercenaries here, some survivors of Günther Bluecraft's unit. He's got some Atavi infantry in the back, and then he's just got huge quantities of war elephants. He's relying very, very heavily on that ability to trample, but the interesting thing is, this is just such an expensive army. Like, both of the armies that he sent against Raga that I've seen have been so expensive, because these war elephants are like 100 gold each. I mean, this is thousands and thousands of gold in elephants. And they're remarkably vulnerable to a lot of things. He does have the Naga warriors, which are solid units. But I don't know. I don't know about this whole mass elephant thing. I really don't. Against province defense like this, of course, it crushes them very, very easily. I mean, I guess war elephants do have lots of siege strength, so this army probably has, you know, at least a few hundred siege strength, but they're just so vulnerable. Yeah, 39 war elephants. So, once again, a huge number of war elephants. That's like 130, 160 almost siege strength right there. So he may be planning to use this as a siege stack? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that Patala has, played with almost no blessing. I think literally no blessing, except like a couple points of reinvigoration. Which is interesting because his Naga warriors are actually pretty solid as sacreds go. And that he's massing up war elephants. 4,000 gold of war elephants. Assuming he's recruiting these. I don't think Patala has spells that summon war elephants. And I think they cost 100 gold. So, yeah. Admittedly, a lot of these may be reused war elephants, because a number of his war elephants escaped the last battle. But still, that's a lot of elephants. We killed an Archocephalian scout in Kamiya, which is right here. So that's fine. I am beginning to cast Woven Winter on Raga, as I promised I would do, and more directly, interestingly, I am actually invading Raga. I thought about invading Patala, and I decided, you know what, actually, it's going to be more effective in the immediate future to invade Raga. Patala is already being attacked by a couple of people. Marignon, for one. I possibly also Archocephale, I'm not sure. I know Agartha and Man are fighting a war, so at this point, I feel like it behooves me to just take some land. Raga and I have been remarkably friendly for people who have been fighting essentially a Cold War all game. Next turn, I will shut down his Zayeden production and keep it shut down, and my armies are moving in. my armies are actually pretty well suited for taking out Raga. I've got a lot of crossbows, which are good at taking out Zayedans. I've also got a reasonable number, not a huge number, but a reasonable number of Shark Warriors. Shark Warriors can't take Zayedans one-on-one, but when buffed with quickness, they become much, much more dangerous. And by spam casting numbness from these other water mages, that will definitely help as well. Chico is staying behind one turn because he is searching for air sites. He will join the army at the next province because Ryujin can move so quickly that he can catch up with them anywhere. Also, this little force is moving into this province just to take it over. So, the plan is we're taking that province and these two provinces. Next turn, depending on where Patala goes, we'll have to see where we move from there. Ideally, I would take these two provinces and then collapse on the capital. Now, the interesting question will be, what about this Patalan stack? It's not a weak stack. It's fairly significant. That said, the biggest danger is the war elephants, and the war elephants are honestly not that dangerous. Basically, this entire stack has what I would term the Jomon problem, in that it is incredibly vulnerable to crossbows. The only units they have that aren't vulnerable to crossbows are their mercenary macemen, and they don't have many of those. Patala must have just an incredible quantity of cash. Like, they're employing 3 mercenary groups continuously, admittedly cheap mercenary groups, but still, 3 mercenary groups continuously, plus pumping out huge numbers of elephants. They do have significant territory, although they're starting to lose it. Like, that's Marignan right there. So he must have already cut a path across Patala somehow, because I think that's Patala right there. Like, this province right here. So Marignan has, like, marched through their cap circle or something. So, I'm attacking Raga to take Ragan territory. I'm also going to turn on Patala. And I'm going to be fighting them simultaneously, because pretty soon here, because I think with my Shark Warriors, I'll be able to invade their pond. I talked about that. And I'll be able to accomplish a lot of stuff. So, I could summon some Kappas. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather maybe summon some Sea Dogs for chaff, or crocodiles. I'm thinking about it. Right now I'm just researching because I have just enough research to hit Alteration level 5 this turn. Alteration level 5 will give me Wooden Warriors, of course. It'll also give me Bone Melter, which is a spell that most mages cannot cast, but Ryujin can, natively, without any boosters. 20% of Ryujin can cast Bone Melter, which is an AoE 1 save or die. It only costs 20 fatigue, and it's just everyone in this square dies unless they make a magic resistance roll. Which is a very interesting technique, especially considering that Zayedans only have 11 magic resistance. They actually have slightly more magic resistance when they die and turn into griffins, but bone melting 1 Zayedan per turn could definitely be an effective tactic, especially considering that I actually already have a nature random Ryujin, and of course, my Ryujins can cross. I mean, this Ryujin can literally hit Ragan territory next turn. In fact, I might do that. Unfortunately, that drops my research down just below where I need it to be. So, instead of summoning Tengu, why don't you research? That would put my research in the right place. And Tsunekane. I'm thinking there's no enemy military units there, so it's only going to be province defense. So Tsunekane, let's give him 4 water gems, and he can cast lesser water elementals, which for him only costs like 40 fatigue or so. So he can drop lesser water elemental 3 times, and then cast numbness on whatever enemies there are. And yeah, I think he should be able to beat pretty much any reasonable quantity of province defense doing that. Taking 4 provinces like that, I will be opening myself up to kick back to an extent. Like this army right here, I don't know where they're going. Hopefully, they're hopping over to bother Ulm some more, in which case they'll be further away from me. But we'll kind of have to see. And like 20 Zayedans could probably drop on my armies and wipe them out. So it'll be interesting to contemplate. Now, part of my secret plan here is my Shark Warriors have 50% dark vision, so they only take -1 to their stats in darkness like this cave, whereas most units take -3, and I believe that includes... Yes, that includes Zayedans. Zayedans take -3 to attack, defense, and precision, and I believe also a combat speed penalty in caves, which makes them a lot less threatening, to be honest. It makes them a lot less threatening and a lot easier to kill. So, by moving into this cave, I'll basically be forcing him to fight at a distinct disadvantage if he wants to fight, which I imagine he does. Now, my infantry don't get that bonus. They are also much, much easier to fight in caves, but their stats are quite high natively, so they should still be able to function as chaff while the Shark Warriors do the killing. In darkness, Shark Warriors are... They're still not a match for Zayedans one-on-one by any means, but they're a lot closer to a match. They do a lot better, and especially with quickening them and numbing the enemy, I think it can probably be done. I will, of course, add Chico to the battle here in the womb, and he will probably bring some water gems with him. In fact, Yoshi, why don't you bring 6 water gems with you right now? Or let's make it 5, actually. Let's make it 5 water gems with you right now. And I will set you on conservative magic gem usage so that you don't use them up. So that when we go into a battle where we think there will be Zayedans, I can have him and Ryutaro spam out some water elementals. Actually, just make it 4. We only need 4. And then I'll give Chico 2 of his own when he jumps in to join us in the womb. So, I think by executing this little ambush here, I'm effectively going to steal like 1/3 to 1/2 of Raga's current territory. After that, we will certainly turn on Patala. This army does not threaten me much because I have crossbows. And the possession of crossbows makes war elephants non-threatening because war elephants are A, a large target, and B, not very well protected. They do have a lot of hit points, so you have to hit them a bunch of times, but they have low morale. And all you have to do is get a squadron of war elephants to fail a morale check, which they will commonly do because their squadrons are not large, and as soon as you kill a few, the others start taking morale checks. And they will rout, and when they rout, they will trample back through their own army very often. So, I think I can do that. I mean, I think if this stack, which is 40 random infantry and approximately 80 crossbows, I think if that stack fought this stack, I would win, or at least I would inflict devastating casualties, especially on the elephants. If I think I'm going to fight the elephants, I will simply shift my crossbows to fire large, and they will shred the elephants in pretty short order, to be fully honest. Samurai archers would actually probably do it a little bit quicker because they fire twice as fast. They're not armor piercing, though. They are piercing damage, but they're not AP, so they'd be doing a lot less damage per hit. Still, firing twice as fast I think would do the job even quicker. And they have better melee stats by far. But crossbows will certainly do the job. So, next turn I'll hit Alteration 5. I'll have wooden warriors and all that nice stuff, in addition to the alterations I already have. My water magic will already be providing significant bonuses through the use of the quickness and numbness spells. And once we hit Alteration level 5, I will also move out some of my Master Shugenjas to use Earth and Nature buffs. After that, research-wise, I am going to hit Conjuration 5, and then I'll kind of have to reassess. There's kind of 3 ways I can go after that. I can continue going down Alteration to hit Alteration level 6. Alteration level 6 will give me Frozen Heart, which is an excellent water single-target combat spell. It does armor negating damage. It will give me Wave Warriors, which my Ryujin can cast, which makes my troops much tougher. It's effectively Temper Flesh, but it comes with some related penalties. It will give me Manifest Vitriol, which allows me to summon Green Lions. And Green Lions are fantastic summons that only require a couple of water gems each. They're slow to mass because you have to spend a mage turn to get one, but they're worth it because they effectively are casting Acid Bolt in battle. Acid Bolt isn't a super high tier evocation, but it is a damaging one, and the ability to summon units that effectively cast damaging evocations is incredibly powerful. I'll also be able to potentially summon Iron Pigs, which is kind of hilarious, albeit not terribly useful. I could go down to Conjuration level 6, after I hit level 5 here. Conjuration level 6 would open up Kitsune to me, as well as Bishop Fish, which are level 3 priests, which could be quite useful. It also opened up a whole bunch of other summons. Sea King's Court, which cements my power in the sea. It would open up Hill Giants, Kenzokus, which are pretty good thug chassis, summonable by my Onmyoji. It would open up Sprites. This is a combat spell, I believe. Yes, that's a combat. It's not a ritual. That's a combat spell. You can summon 6 Sprites, and Sprites are kind of hilarious because they fire Elf Shot that do, I think, 100 fatigue damage. They make people fall asleep very, very quickly. And Forest Trolls and Lamias, which would be very, very interesting. But all of this requires a lot of gems, which I don't have at this stage of the game. I could go down Construction. I think that's valuable because it will open up boosters to me. I need to get to Construction level 6 fairly quickly to open up all the boosters that I'll need. A lot of them are Astral boosters to boost the power of my Onmyoji and allow them to forge other things. Enchantment wouldn't be a terrible idea. Enchantment 3 would give me Strength of Giants, which is one of the basic Earth buffs. Enchantment 5 would give me Watchers and Gargoyles, which are kind of useful, as well as Foul Vapors, which Nature Random Ryujin can cast, which is a poisonous spell that covers the whole battlefield, accumulating poison damage and basically kills everyone who isn't incredibly poison resistant. Level 6 would also give me Relief, which is a spell that reduces friendly fatigue all across the battlefield. You've seen that before. Going down Evocation, now that I have steady Ryujin access, wouldn't be a bad idea. Level 4 Evocation would give me Acid Rain, which is a great multi-purpose AoE damage spell. It would also give me Blade Wind. Level 6 would give me Magma Eruption, which a lot of my mages can cast, as well as at level 5 I would get Falling Frost, and Gifts from Heaven, which Onmyoji can theoretically cast if they get the right randoms, and they either use a booster or they enter into a communion. Also, it would get me Stellar Cascades, which does pretty significant fatigue damage in a large area of effect. So Stellar Cascades, not a bad spell, especially if you're facing elites that you have trouble killing unless you fatigue them out. So lots of potential options. I think probably I'm going to hit the Conjuration, then I'll bounce back to Alteration, and go Alteration level 6. Well, no, before I go Alteration level 6, I need to go down Construction, because I need to get water boosters to allow my basic low-level water, fire, crosspath Master Shugenjas to cast Manifest Vitriol. I need Robes of the Sea or Water Bracelets. Water Bracelets are Construction level 6, probably I'd stop at Robes of the Sea, to be fully honest. Alteration level 5 will carry me fairly far, though, because Maws of the Earth is a spell that any Earth 2 Master Shugenja can cast. Bone Melter is a good spell. Iron Warriors is a good spell for my low-level mages to spam out. Incinerate is basically Frozen Heart, but even more damage, and Flaming, which is a good spell. And, yeah. It's interesting to me that Frozen Heart is actually higher level than Incinerate. I guess Incinerate requires much higher level magic, so it's harder to cast. That's kind of the difference. And Ryujin can also cast Boil. Although, oh, that's right, you can't cast Phoenix Power underwater, so you can't buff your fire magic underwater. Yes, you have to be holding a fire booster. Okay, that makes it a lot harder. I'd forgotten that. But yeah, so I think that's probably my play. Alteration 5, Conjuration 5. Well, I'll decide whether I'm then going to go Alteration 6 or go down Construct. Probably I need to get Construction first, and then I'll hit Alteration level 6. So that will be the plan, and this is the battle plan. We will see if Raga turns the Zayedans on me when I do this. I think probably, if I had to guess, because see, this army is either going here or here, and that doesn't lead them towards Raga proper, so I almost guarantee they're going south. Which is fine, that's okay, they can do that. But when they go south, we won't be able to cross this, because the capital will be cold. Tactically speaking, I might not want to cool the capital down then. No, I still want to cool the capital down. Just to stop him from massing up Zayedans for an extra turn. Patala is almost certainly going to go in and try to take Raga, and then I will have my shot at trying to take Raga. And my ideal end to this war is that I end up with all this. Like, that would be the perfect outcome. I don't really mind fighting Patala for it, because I'm planning to fight Patala anyway. Agartha I'm not worried about, because Agartha and Man are duking it out, and I think Pangaea as well. Pangaea and Man are having a little bit of a tussle, and Agartha is all the way down here. So there's like a three-way pile-up going on down in this corner of the world. They're busy. They won't bother me. Over here, I am a little bit worried about Arcocephale, but his big army is moving away, which indicates to me that he's not planning to fight me. So his big army is moving down this way. He might be going to join in on the Agartha pile-up, or he might be trying to go after Marignan. If he was going after Marignan, he would have just gone after Marignan from Junal Forest. So I bet he's going to try and join the attack on Agartha. If he was going for me, he would be moving this way. If he was going for Marignan, he'd be going up through there. So he's heading down towards Agartha. And I think I'm going to be left well enough alone to eat a big chunk of Raga and then go straight after Patala. And the important thing will be keeping Patala from taking Raga proper and also stealing their lake, because they will have the ability to come down into the water after me, but they're going to have a rougher time than I am, because I have a lot of high-level water mages, and I can cheerfully and easily spit out water elementals. And I have Shark Warriors, and Shark Warriors are very tough. I don't think they'll probably take on Naga Warriors one-on-one. Well, actually, Naga Warriors. Yeah, Naga Warriors have multiple attacks and poison. Although their attack skill is actually quite a bit lower than Shark Warriors. Well, not quite a bit. It's a little bit. The defense skill is higher, though. They do a lot less damage, except with their falchion attack. Their falchion attack is 21, and a Shark Warrior's spear is 25 at attack 13. So yeah, I think Shark Warriors... their attack density is low because they're size 4, so I think the Shark Warriors would have to be buffed to effectively fight Naga Warriors. But I can do that. I mean, I already have 4 Ryujin active, and I'm getting more at a rate of 2 every 2 turns, as well as more Shark Warriors. I can recruit Shark Warriors faster than he can recruit Naga Warriors, I'm pretty certain, because I think those Naga Warriors are capital only. Yeah, Nagas can be recruited in caves, but Naga Warriors are capital only, and regular Nagas are much less impressive. And also, they require you to build a fort in a cave, which will have very low recruitment points. So you're not going to have many Nagas, like, at all. And yeah, the poison is a little bit worrying, but I do have underwater nature mages, like Tsunekane, so I will be able to buff my poison resistance if necessary. So anyway, that is going to be the turn, and I'll see you all in turn 23.